write your name at the top of his list. And the Statue of Liberty started shaking her fist. And the eagle will fly, and it's gonna be here. I brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
It's time for Veterans Issues, the show that brings you information about veterans, military, and their family. Now here's your host, Ken Rollins.
Welcome to Veterans Issues. Ken Rollins here. Today's show is going to be about a subject that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but we're going to talk about funeral arrangements, and we're going to be talking with Bruce Goddard. I knew I was going to screw that up, but it's Bruce Goddard with SCI and Dignity, and you need to get a pen because we got some things we need to talk to you about. Be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. Today we're talking with Bruce Goddard, and he is the I want to make sure I get this right because he's one of the senior managing directors with the SCI, Dignity Memorial. And SCI is Service Corporation International. And it's about cemeteries, funeral homes, that kind of thing. We want to talk to him about a lot of things today. So get your pen. Welcome to the show, Bruce.
Thank you, Ken. Glad to be here.
Good to be anywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good to be anywhere.
I checked the obituaries. Me and you wasn't in there today, so
that's a good thing.
It's a good thing. So you with SCI. I got some history with it. Go back a lot of years. I know what a great company they are. Today I want the people that's watching out here to understand why it's important they get a pre-arrangement, and also that they do it with a company that can furnish all the things that they need and things that they might not know is available. And you've got a lot of those things that I saw in my notes, did a research that I was not aware that y'all do. So you've been in the funeral business how long?
All my life.
All your life.
I'm a fourth generation funeral director from Georgia. I'm a licensed funeral director in Balmer. And I was 13 years old when I went on my first death call with my dad. Mm-hmm. I went with my dad and my granddad in this little town in Georgia. And I've been licensed. Next year will be 40 years. So I've been doing this all my life. Crazy way to make a living, but it's an honorable way to make a living.
It is, and you got to be compassionate because you're dealing with people when they're most down and more vulnerable and that kind of thing, and people take advantage of people at those times. Would you agree?
Yeah, what happens is sometimes I read articles or see shows where this industry gets blasted. Just what you just said, these people take advantage of people at the worst time of their life. They're vultures or whatever, but the truth is what we're preaching, at least what this company preaches, that it's better to take care of the business of death before your family gets in the middle of the agony of it.
Well, let's go to that point. Okay. Let's go to that because that's something I experience not weekly, but quite often here as being a veterans advocate. I get a lot of people that have not made arrangements, and we were talking in the green room that a lot of veterans out there, and the people's watching right now, there's a lot of veterans out there that think that they got burial free just because they got a marker. But you experience a lot of that.
We do. We people think that if they're a veteran, it's paid for. We do offer a lot for veterans with our company, but I can tell you that it's a nightmare for somebody to be going through the traumatic things that happen at a death, and to be looking up DD-214s and trying to figure out if they can prove they were a veteran and understanding what the benefits are. And it's just a whole lot better to do this ahead of time. And we have a lot of tools to help people do that. I can just tell you, really, whether you're a veteran or not, it's difficult to make all the decisions you have to make, not only the decisions about a funeral, but the financial decisions. You shouldn't do that while you're under duress. Do it when you can laugh about it. Do it when you can think clearly. So that's what we preach, and I really believe that's what everybody should be doing.
Yeah, not just veterans, but everybody that's watching out there should look at their situation when they watch this show and say, what would my family do should I pass tonight? Would they know where this is? Do they know where the car title is? Do they know where I've got my bank deposit? The things like that. That's what we run into.
Yeah, and what I find is that when people really think about that is when they attend a funeral of somebody they love and they've been impacted by that event. The people really do go home and they do exactly what you just said. They sit in their chairs and they're thinking, what in the world would my family, my wife or husband or significant other be doing if that was my funeral today? And we have the answers to the questions that are formulated in their minds, and there's no sense in fretting over all that. We can help and help make those decisions. I mean, I'll be honest, it's good for us because, you know, when somebody pre-arranges a funeral, if you pay for a funeral in advance, we literally freeze the price. And no matter what our company does, if the prices go up, you won't ever have to pay any more money. We invest the money. We put it in a vehicle, insurance vehicle usually, sometimes in a trust, so we can keep up with inflation. But the biggest discounts we give in our company are what we call pre-need going at need discounts, where we have to discount funerals because the funeral's gone up more than today's cost. So it's better for the consumer to do it financially. It's good for us because you become our client. And so there's two reasons that we do that, at least two. And so it's important.
Well, see, I'm a living example of that because after I lost my brother, I realized that with all the things I've got with the life insurance and everything, I didn't have a burial policy. So I did I went ahead and got me so that nobody has to worry about, you know, and it's like I said out there is, it's always that unexpected. Most people are not sitting around thinking Papa was going to go. So whenever they do go, it's unexpected, and the family has to scramble for the funds.
Right.
That if they'd have had them, if you'd have been paying it a little bit along. Y'all have a payment plan where
we do. You can pay it in advance. You can make payments, but that is important. But the other thing that's important is just having your affairs in order, so your family doesn't have to go figure out what your situation is and where all the stuff that we're going to need at your death to even complete a death certificate. It's just better to have that in order. And well, we have two things to help do that. One, we call a personal planning guide, and it's a professional looking book, really. It's a paperback book. I should have brought one with me, where somebody that knows what they're doing can sit down with a family and walk them through, and they can complete that. The money and paying for it's very important. It takes that financial burden off. But making these decisions of what kind of funeral, do you want to be cremated? Do you want to have a burial? Mm-hmm. Do you want to have a church funeral? Do you want to have a party at the river? Do you want to have pallbearers? There's so many, what songs you want sung, or a band you want to play, or whatever you want to do. There's so many things you could decide ahead of time.
Well, we were talking about Service Corporation International is a huge operation. How big a company is it?
It is a huge operation. We do about 300,000 funerals annually in our company in the United States. That sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. But there's probably 2.6 million people die in the United States every year. So actually our percentage of that is pretty small, 11.5 to 12%.
How many states you're in?
I can't answer how many states, but we're in a lot of them. We're not in every state, but we have about 2,000 locations, 1,500 or so funeral homes, 500 or so cemeteries. Along with the 300,000 funerals we do a year, we also do over 160,000 interments. So we own cemeteries too. So we do both. It is a big company, but what people have to realize, it is run by local people. I mean, we're in Anniston today. Wayne Bishop at Chapel Hill, he started that. He's been there forever. We got John Smith at Gray Brown, and we've got Jill Bodwin at Collier Butler in Gadsden.
Yes, okay.
And so we've got local people. Morgan Funeral Home, Sammy Morgan and Don Wester are there. People that know, they're local people running these things, but we have resources behind them to be able to offer things to people that an independent funeral home many times can't offer. And I'm speaking as I was an independent funeral home. My family for 100-something years, and I was myself for 22 years.
Yeah, well, we don't have anything if I don't get to this commercial here before
they you go right
run us out. We had to pay the bills. Back after this, more through. Welcome back to Veterans Issues, and we're talking with Bruce Goddard with the SCI and Dignity. It's Memorial Services, and we were talking about our buddy Wayne Bishop here in Anniston, and of course people watch us up in Southside and Gadsden and all this stuff. I don't want to shorten anybody out there, but Wayne has been involved community thing. If you go to any of our Memorial Day services or our Veterans Day services, the first thing you see is Chapel Hill and Wayne Bishop and all his people there giving out water and stuff and just taking care of. He's been involved in the community. That's part of what y'all do.
Yeah, Wayne is a poster child for that. If we could replicate Wayne all over the country, we'd be doing well.
Don't give him too much credit. He'll get the big
but he's
head,
involved in the community, and the biggest thing, he cares.
Yeah.
He cares about what's going on.
Let me tell you something that's big in this community, and I'm talking about the Anniston area. We got a place here called Edgemont Cemetery, and a portion of that cemetery, the American Legion had it for years, and it has nothing bad against them, but it looks awful. And I hear so many bad comments about it. Wayne has taken up the mantle to get that fixed. He's been on my case to join in on it, and I'm going to do it. I've been trying to take stuff off of the plate, but I'm going to put that back on there. So if you see Edgemont Cemetery starting to look back the way it's supposed to look to honor veterans, it'll be based on your man here.
Yeah, well, we're very aware of that. In fact, John Hasty, who runs this area for us, was telling me that Wayne is doing that, and the company and Dignity Memorial is backing that 100%. It's just giving back to the community. Yeah. And there's been complaints about the veterans section of that cemetery. Wayne takes it personally, and he's personally doing something about it. So I think we're going to see a big improvement there.
Well, you saw, you said something earlier about people in public service, like us, law enforcement and whatever, and about the burials and stuff. But I don't know. We have Law Enforcement Week here, and I'm in those meetings over at the courthouse, and somebody will say, "How about getting this?" And somebody, and one of the county commissioners, the ex-county commissioners, he'll say, "Call Wayne Bishop. Call Wayne Bishop." You know, it's always a go-to guy, and having a company like that gets involved in other things other than burying your loved ones. That's very important.
That's what we're about. That is what we're about. And you mentioned something that I want to throw out, and Wayne wanted me to be sure to mention this too, but it's very important that our company does. I was looking at some pictures that he was doing with the Police Association, the Sheriff's Association, just like you said. But our company, again, example of how we can give back to the community. It's a bad thing to think about, but it happens. But we have what we call a public servants program. And if any, in my hearing voice, if any public servant, and that is somebody that's a first responder, whether it's a sheriff's department or ambulance drivers or whatever, if they, God forbid, get killed in the line of duty, we have that funeral for them at no cost to that family. That's casket and merchandise.
Would that include a volunteer firefighter that got killed in the line?
Yes, it doesn't even have to be a full-time. A volunteer, we do those, and they're awful when they happen, but that's part of what we do as a company. As an independent funeral home owner, I couldn't do that. I couldn't say I'm going to give funerals away. I had to pay the bills. But as a company, that's things we can do as having resources to do things.
That goes to the question I was asking, why a big company? Why it's important to people out there when they get ready to, when they, the first time I've been through these things with the funeral, who we going to call? Who we call? They passed away at a hospital. Who do we call?
Yeah.
And then you make that decision based on, you just want to do some little something, or do you want to do something that honors that your father or your mother, whoever? Yeah.
Well, what my experience is, the people call people they know, and that's the first thing you think about is, and we understand that. That's why we have local people, the Wayne Bishops of the world, we have local people that people know working in these funeral homes.
Well, do y'all still have the Vietnam Wall moving wall?
It's not moving. We still have it. It's actually parked at Fort Benning now, and
really?
But we've had that thing all over. I think it came here one time. Were you involved with that, right?
I had one, but it wasn't that one. It was
another one.
From San Jose.
Yeah.
But the one that I saw from SCI was down in I want to say Evergreen, down in Montgomery. At a cemetery down there.
Right. Incredible experience, and the work that went into those things. I've been to several of them, and to see these Vietnam veterans going up and leaving things at that wall and weeping, you're just able to take a replica of that wall and take it out, and it was an incredible thing. Is there anything else? Things you do the same thing over and over, it can get tired. So we have it's at Fort Benning.
I had a awesome experience down there in Montgomery at that one. There was a state trooper pulled up. He took off his hat. He went over first and he asked where some name was, and he went up to the wall. He took off that big Smokey Bear hat and he laid it down on the carpet, and he got in his car and drove off. And I went over and looked at it. He had wrote a message in that plastic in there to his buddy Jimmy. In Vietnam, they were going to be cops when they got out. And he's, damn you, Jimmy, I made it. If you had done what the LT, the lieutenant, told you to do, you'd be here with me. In other words, he was mad at Jimmy.
Right.
But he left a $300-something hat there that I have. But he knew who on that wall. I had no idea on the wall
Right.
it was. But
Right.
it's a very moving thing y'all did, and I appreciate it. Now let's get some things to talk about the child and the grandchild characters.
So that's another thing we do as a company. When we sell plans and packages to make it easier for the family. You can get a casket vault, and we have things we put in a plan. When somebody buys a plan from us, and again, it's not something we talk about. Nobody wants to talk about the children dying, but it happens. And when they are our customers and they bought a plan pre-need, if a child or grandchild under the age of 21 passes away, we handle that funeral at no cost to the consumer up to the amount of whatever funeral the adult had. So again, you don't see us just talking about that a lot, but it's things we do to give back to the community.
Homeless Veterans Program.
Homeless Veterans Program is one of the greatest things that we do. There are probably 150,000 homeless veterans on the streets of America every night. We have worked in cohort with the military affairs, with local coroners and medical examiner's office, and we provide, along with them, burial, funeral, dignified, honorable funerals at no cost to people who are homeless that are veteran on the streets of America. And we've served about 1,600 of them to date since 2000 that we've started. And this is a big deal. We do it right. If you got hair on your neck, it will stand up when you see one of these homeless veterans.
Veteran
funerals.
seminar you do.
Yeah, that is people. You mentioned at the beginning, nobody knows what the benefits are, and nobody knows. Some people think the funeral's going to be paid for. It won't. There are benefits you get. It's a little complicated if you die at a VA hospital, if you're drawing a pension, if you should be drawing a pension and you're not. We have a VA seminar that we do, a veteran seminar that can bring groups of people together, and we can talk about this, give them what we call a veteran's guide. That is a book that shows you every benefit you get, shows you how to clean all that up, put it all there, and so the family knows exactly where everything is, all in one place. And we offer benefits for veterans that come to those seminars when they prearrange a funeral.
Well, I'll put Wayne's phone number up there, Wayne Bishop, 256-454-0136, 454-0136. And you got my information on the screen here, so nobody should be wanting for information about a funeral. We got less than a minute. We'll wrap it up. Tell me what I left off.
Well, you said it at the beginning, don't wait to the worst day of your life or your family's worst day of their life. The best to be making major decisions that you can make ahead of time when you can laugh about it.
Would I be right to say the best way you can show your family or you loved them was to be prepared and don't leave a burden on them when you die?
I can tell you this, I've never seen a family come in and say, I wish Mom and Daddy hadn't prearranged that funeral. I can tell you that,
brother.
that's a
Amen.
fact.
Well, you can see the compassion you got in your face. You probably have to have some of that to do what y'all do. And I appreciate you. And I really, on behalf of the veterans, I appreciate what you do for them.
Thank you for having me.
We got to go to a break. I got news that you can use, so stay right there. Get you a pen. Be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Issues. I do appreciate Bruce Goddard for coming on doing the show today. Service Corporation International, Dignity Memorials. Wayne Bishop, keep that number I gave you here, and if you need help, if you don't, just give me a call. I'll put you in touch with these folks. You can see that they are dedicated to what they're doing, and it always pays to get the good folks, something like that, the people that can handle all the things that you might need rather than just going for a get-by situation. We don't want to do that for your loved ones. The number I want you to write down today is the VA hotline. This is a new line that the new secretary has installed. It's at the White House. And if you don't believe me, you try it. It's 855-948-2311. Again, that's 855-948-2311. That's the new hotline. It's only been a couple months. If you got anything, including, that is not the suicide hotline, but it is also if you know someone a veteran that's contemplating or acts like they're going, call that number. They'll tell you what to do about that. We had a guest on here a few weeks ago, whatever name, Ross Winter, and we was talking about the Alabama Wounded Warriors, and I want to remind you about that outfit because they help a lot of veterans. This doesn't have to be a wounded warrior per se. It doesn't even have to be a veteran. It could be the veteran's family. So, as a matter of fact, I called them yesterday that a veteran's roof is leaking, and they hadn't put buckets all over the house and everything. There's nobody out there. Watch what Wounded Warriors does for them. So, you want to call 256-458-2715, 458-2715, and ask for Bill Williams, and at the Alabama Wounded Warriors, 458-2715. Now, if you see some movement up in the park, I've told you about this every week, so I don't want anybody thinking that we're tearing something down. We're getting ready to build the official Alabama Firefighters Memorial. We already got the official Alabama Law Enforcement Memorial, and we'll start the Firefighters Memorial. Hope to get it finished by the end of the year, and it'll be you'll be seeing some concrete work going on. So that'll answer what we're doing up there. I tell you about every week that I need wheelchairs. Power chairs is what I need, not the manual type, but the ones with the batteries in them. That I got veterans out there that need wheelchairs, need transportation to get to their mailbox and up and down the street to visit their neighbor, but they're not qualified to get a power chair. So I've had a few of you that's taking care of that, and all of them are gone. There's veterans out there right now that need the chairs, and I will take care of that and make sure you get them. But if it got bad batteries in them, I don't even want to hear about it, because the battery is what the big cost of one of the chairs is. But if you got one, give me a call with my information. It's on the screen every week. That's law enforcement tag. It comes time to get your new tag. Think about the law enforcement tag that honors those that killed in the line of duty, and that you do not have to be in law enforcement to get one of those tags. And the revenue from that tag helps us build the things like the Firefighters Memorial, and it helps us keep up the things that are in the park, in Centennial Memorial Park in Anniston. So think about that the next time you have to renew your tag. We also need drivers, volunteer drivers for the DAV van. It leaves in Oxford in the morning around 6:30. And it takes the veterans to Birmingham VA and brings them back that evening. It'd be bad to take veterans over there and leave them, so they bring them back. So if you'd like to be a volunteer driver for the van, it's a very rewarding thing, not financially, but in your heart. You give me a call, and I'll put you in touch with Paul Burley, and he'll take care of that. Call down to the clinic. Make sure you get your Veterans Choice Card. There's some new things on the horizon about a choice card, so you're going to need that. We got to go. We're running out of time this week, and I do appreciate the folks from Dignity Memorial for their service to the veterans of the United States, and I appreciate them coming on here today, and we'll see you next week on Veterans Issues. Salute.